fighting on for dear life, but the girl who was shot passed away today.
Yeah, her father said that she wasn't going to make it.
Yeah, so.
Man, get up here in the Zo Loft and get your head right.
Oh yeah, what's up, Head Right homies? Welcome to the Zo Loft, your Head Right hangout. Hey, well, I mean, I don't mind asking in. Maybe some of you heathens didn't tune in for the Zo PM Den. Maybe you just came to the after party here in the Zo Loft and you kind of skipped all that Jesus stuff that we be talking about in the Zo PM Den. You know, that real stuff that y'all need to really. That's where you get the real news, man. But we're gonna talk about, you know, whatever else kind of news is on out there. And so I hope y'all had a blessed and groovy Thanksgiving. Again, you know, hey, I don't know, I'm pretty sure, you know, we don't mind saying it again for those that we already said it to. And man, and speaking of which, having a groovy Thanksgiving, prayers, man, and you know, for those who, you know, who are spending their who, you know, came across this Thanksgiving in mourning, you know, considering the tragedy of this shooting of these National Guardsmen. And so we're going to talk about that. A CIA director says Afghan immigrant who shot two guardsmen worked with the agency. Here's the update on his background. We're going to talk about President Trump says any document signed by Biden's autopen is hereby terminated. All right.
Good news.
Yeah. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yep.
A federal judge dismisses charge against James Comey, Letitia James. For a second, it was some good news, and then, you know. Well, what I think was it Jay said, man, it's only our party really knows how to snatch defeat from the hands of victory. This. What, girlfriend?
I don't know.
Let's see.
Your volume went up and down real quick too.
Is that, man?
It's normal now, but
How's yours? Is yours normal? Normal.
it's normal unheard.
No. Oh, criminally.
Testing.
Well, you got that signal. The signal likes you. So it should be coming through. Let us know, folks. Did you hear her say testing?
Testing.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm not coming through. I don't know.
What?
People don't need to hear me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I like it.
Aw.
And they like it. It's not a matter of need, but want.
Yes, Gremlins, Jay, always.
Always. And, you know, as usual, I got a signal right here. I'm looking at it. And let's see what it says in here. Yeah, me neither. So you got that. That's in there. That's plugged in. Battery's in there. It's turned on. Signal chain is good right here. Like if you even
This is where I wore it I always wear it at the same spot.
Yeah. It's reading you. For some reason, it doesn't want to let other people hear you. Let's check this really quick.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm 20 feet away. I don't know.
That's because you're probably picking up in my microphone.
Am I too close?
Nah. Oh, well, not to me. You're never too close, baby. Yeah. My apologies, folks. I don't know what it is. I got everything in my signal chain saying that she's coming through. Let's just try to push on through. Gremlins, man. All right, so.
Yeah, we hear her in your microphone.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you hear in my microphone, huh?
Thank you, Paul DeLoya.
See, and your signal here is strong too. Matter of fact, as well. Let's see. Let me try this. Check 1 2.
Check 1 2.
Check 1 2. This is my mic. I'm pretty sure. Right? Yep, that's going to my microphone, and I'm on. And then, give me a test once again.
Test once again.
Yeah, your signal is coming through strong here. It's coming in the StreamYard. Strong there.
Actually, when you did that, the sound, your sound got much better. Whatever you did.
Well, geminently. All right, let's just try to keep on. Well, I don't want to bore people with me fumbling with these knobs and stuff like that.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's get on with the show. All right. Boom.
They can hear me through your mic.
All right. Trump corners Democrats with new health care plan. Big insurance panicking. Ooh. Well, big insurance like who? Which big insurance is that? The state-run health insurance? What we have basically turned into like the monopoly of the government MO at that one?
Right.
Because other insurance, well, I guess why would other insurance companies be panicking? It's like, man, y'all get to compete now. Well, I guess they don't want to.
They don't get the free money.
Yeah.
Remember, I think their shares have gone up 1,000% in just a few years. So, no, people can't hear me, but I'm telling you.
Would-be Texan pirates charged with plot to recruit homeless Washingtonians to invade Haitian island and enslave locals. Okay.
That's a real article.
That's a real thing. All right. Actress, I was only offered more slave parts after Oscar win. That sounds gross. Here, madam, here's some slave parts.
That sounds awful.
Here's a nice leg for you.
You've been listening to too much of my haunted
Yeah, right?
mystery
Yeah.
shows.
A slave leg. Yeah. All right. So, let's read this article right here that I should open up in Safari instead of,
Yes.
right? Instead of Chrome. Chrome. Let's see. Come on, Safari, do your stuff. All right. So in a gut-wrenching, according to this article, in a gut-wrenching announcement posted to social media, the father of U.S. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, 20, shares profound grief over her death. Come on, ads. Don't you have any respect? I'm trying to jump up in here while I'm trying.
All of us are trying to read.
Yeah. All right. Following an ambush shooting near the White House. On Thanksgiving, the father, Gary Beckstrom, wrote, "My baby girl has passed to glory. If I don't talk to you, don't be offended. This has been a horrible tragedy." The comments on the post were flooded with prayers and support. I guess this is where Democrats come in and say, we don't need prayers.
Right.
Like, man, yes, we do. Because if people, would actually pray, not only pray, man, but believed, you actually, and not just, pray for, hey, Lord, grant me what it is that I desire most, it's like, Lord, help us to understand you. You know, help us to see you for who you say you are. Help us to be disciplined and do what's supposed to be done in the following of our King. I mean, we don't really pray for that. Pray for your enemies. You know, so what do we got? Y'all might have seen these cats, man, and and I see a lot of conservatives, man, have like a big, you know, they're just all so, oh yeah, these guys that came in, Christ first, Jesus first, and they're telling these, you know, people, get the F out of our country. We don't want you here. And they went to, you know, this meeting and stuff like that. And y'all, look, I get it. These people are invading us, you know, and they're doing us wrong. But you have to understand something, folks. You have to understand something. And I don't think people really get this. If you curse your enemy, listen, if you curse your enemy will be a curse to you. You can't curse the country into prosperity. All right? Telling these people to get the F out of here and F you and all that sort of stuff, y'all, and then turn around and say, Christ first. That is not being an emissary of the kingdom. All right? The Lord didn't tell us to go curse. I think he said, pray for them, bless them, love your enemies. That doesn't mean reward them, folks. It doesn't mean bend over, you know, and kiss their behinds and all that sort of stuff. It's not what it means. It's not a reward for them. The thing that you're praying for is for them to receive the Lord's peace and truth. You're praying for them to stop it with their evil. All right? You bless them by not being like them. Because if you don't, then you just become like them. Why would we want to become like the people that, you know, we find so much disdain for? Yeah, I mean, if there are enemies, yeah, there are enemies for a reason. They do things that we don't like, detestable things that we recognize as detestable. We recognize all that sort of stuff. You know, but cursing these people and wishing evil on them, the Lord says, don't repay evil for evil. Don't repay evil with evil. The Lord says, don't do that. What, we think we're going to be justified in doing it? We want to be as malicious as them? That doesn't make us great. It doesn't make us better. Right. It just makes us like them. You know? And thinking that we're doing some good and we're doing it in the name of God, that's taking the Lord's name in vain. You know what I'm saying? To be stronger than that is to have that sense of grace. Even if you have to mow these people down. You know what I'm saying? It can't be in malice. You know, when the Lord sends, you know, his armies to dispatch of the enemy, you can't be doing it in malice. You know, as the Lord says, man, don't be rejoicing because you vanquished demons and stuff like that. You need to rejoice that your name is written in heaven. Right. You know, but people, they take that for granted and they're very dismissive of it. It ain't gonna make us better. You know? So yeah, this just kind of reminded me of that. You know, when you got people out there, for some reason, I don't know, they love these people who get out there and they just cussing and swearing and trying to talk all tough and whatever. Dude, these people just look like P words to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't. All this tough talk and whatever, man, action. Yeah. The tough talk doesn't impress me at all. And these liberals and whomever, they ain't really that scared either. Well, what it is that they're really not afraid of showing us that they're afraid. They're terrified. That's why they do what they do. They're irrational. Their fear is irrational. They're given over to their imaginations about these nightmares that they think that we're going to do when there's really no evidence of it. We're going to do these things. The things that they're afraid of is the stuff that they do. And they project it onto us. You know? But, so all that to say, you know, with this right here, this person, you know, getting gunned down, the young soldier from West Virginia was gunned down alongside her colleague, Air Force Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, by a migrant from Afghanistan who had been allowed into this country by the Biden administration. Okay, so See, that's another thing, man. A lot of, of Republican voters, so-called conservatives, whichever, who are acting more like Democrats, really. They act more like Democrats than anything else. And not only do they act like them, and think like them, they're being led around by the nose by them. They think, it's like, do you really think, and don't get me wrong, y'all, it's a problem when people get into our country illegally. It's a problem when they do stuff like that. But if you think that they're the real problem, then you might have a touch of racism in you. Why are these people here? They're here because of white liberal Democrats. For some reason, people like seeing it. They don't see that part. No. They're hung up with being upset about DEI and diversity and stuff like that, and it's somehow people of color are the ones who are ruining this nation. No, it's not really us. The ones who's engineering all this stuff are white liberal Democrats. But the thing is, even when it comes down to that, they don't see Democrats anymore. All they see is, people of color. And that's exactly how the Democrats want it. See, the damage that's doing it's funny how you have white conservatives. White conservatives, they want to act like, hey, somehow we dark folk are becoming the problem. That we're the issue. Meanwhile, the thing that they're afraid of the most is I'll remind y'all, the thing that they're afraid of is European socialism. That's what they're afraid of the most. That's their biggest fear. European socialism and communism. That's what they're afraid of. We're not doing that. We're being used to do it. Yeah, they're definitely using us to do it. But that's white liberal Democrats, the elite, who are making that happen. The ones who demanded that we keep our borders open. And then they use black folks to say that if you don't leave our borders open, well, you're just a bunch of racists. You Republicans are racist. They want you back in chains. And they want to use all the buzzwords that they're the ones who put on us in the first place, and then use that plight to make it to where we should have our open borders. And and ICE is the enemy. Right? They do stuff like that. We have people infiltrating our country and committing atrocities like this. Because who's in control of it? White liberal Democrats. All right? And who do they want Republicans to resent? Black folks. Right? They want Republicans thinking that we've got a bad case of reverse racism. Right? So it's like they want right Republicans to resent black people. Democrats definitely want that, because why? Why do they want that? Because they don't ever want black folks to vote Republican. And they don't want Republicans to show that they're any kind of welcoming to it. Mm-hmm. Right? They want the resentment wide. That's what they're pushing for. And it's working. Yeah. It's working. You got Republicans out there who soak up more Fox News than they soak up the Bible.
Amen.
The Fox News, I tell you what, if you Republicans who are Fox News junkies, if you would read the Bible, you would be better informed. You would know what to do with the information, because a lot of y'all don't know what to do with it. You just let these people make you stew in resentment and turn you into racist. That's what's happening to you. You don't even know it. You don't even know how much control the Democrats have over you. Yeah. They do. You even sound like them a lot of times. Don't even know it. Right? So they've got you, they're putting you to where you resent anybody. I'll prove it to you. You think that we've got a bad case of reverse racism. And a lot of y'all haven't even experienced it yourself. You haven't. You experience it through Fox News. That's where you experience it from. But I'll bet you a lot of y'all who think this, we got to reverse it, ain't never really have not received. I'm not saying that it hasn't, but a lot of y'all who are getting all resentful and stuff like that and want to talk about reverse racism, you haven't experienced it yourself. You haven't, right? And I'll take it a step further. When those people talk about, yeah, well, there's reverse racism, we got reverse racism and stuff like that. Well, where is that happening?
Where are you hearing all these reports of this reverse racism? You're hearing about it in Democrat-run areas, ain't you? Yeah, mostly Democrat-run areas. It's not like Republican-run areas are just flooded with black people. So you're not getting it from them there. But the reverse racism that you be hearing about and seeing about are places run by Democrats. Mm-hmm. So my point is, what the crap do you care? Why do you care? Right? Yeah. You want, because here, let me put it to you like this. Those white people that you're so, is it reverse racism? It's reverse. They're happening in Democrat-run cities. Those white people are Democrats. So what? Let them get a taste of their own medicine. They voted for this stuff. But see, the thing is, you don't care that they're Democrats. What you care about is that they're white. You see what I'm saying? You see how inconsistent you are? You see how you're being led around by the Democrat Party? When you want the Democrats to get a taste of their own medicine, when you want Democrats to pay for what they did, well, black folks are making them do that. Not you. You ain't doing it. Black folks are doing it. But when they do it, you're like, it's reverse racism. Right? That's what we end up getting. And that's why that's why we can't win. Because the Democrats have got you all twisted up and wound up that you're so defensive of being white now. That's exactly where the Democrats are. It used to not be that way. Yeah. It wasn't like that before. And I've been warning y'all for years. Of course, they don't want, Big Con or the liberals, they don't want you to hear it. They don't want you to hear it.
You started in 2007 warning about this.
I've been warning about it for a long time. I said, they're going to get you, man. They're going to get you thinking exactly how they want. Yep. Right? And it has come. It's come to fruition. I've been trying to warn. It's like, dude, this is how we can avoid it. No, we want to listen to people like Charlie Kirk, and we want to listen to those people. I'm telling you, these people have been leading you astray. So I've been trying to warn people that this stuff is cultural. It's not political. More importantly, it's spiritual. It's pointless to tell, I guess mainstream conservatives that, dude, this is spiritual, man. They don't care about that. And that's the biggest point that they're missing. They barely get it that it's cultural, if at all. They barely get that. Right? So they barely get that. And so they think that this is all going to be solved political. So like I said, when we're talking about CIA director says Afghan migrant who shot 2 guardsmen worked with the agency. You think that's political? Mm-hmm. How do you think they got there? How do you think the CIA became the way that it is? How do you think the FBI became the way that it is? How do you think we ended up with a deep state? First up, y'all, it's spiritual. The spiritual discipline of the Lord is not there. It has not been encouraged. And when that happens, y'all, you're given over to other spirits. And that ain't holy. And that translates into culture. So we got people who are in our agencies. Why do you think that is? Because of the cultural push of like political correctness, DEI, diversity, and all that sort of stuff. Being politically correct and whatever. That is a cultural thing where you have to appeal to people's sentiments and all that sort of stuff. The effectiveness of offsetting that has not been done because Republicans think that this can be done politically. That ain't going to work, man. It's not sustainable. And Republicans just don't freaking get that. They think that some political savior is going to come in and just change all that. Doesn't work, dude. The groundwork spiritually and culturally has to be laid. These people don't appear in the CIA out of nowhere. They don't appear in a political puff of smoke and say, I'm in the CIA now. Let me go ahead and do some evil. They're groomed. They're shaped in the culture. And then they take those ideals in there. They're groomed and shaped in the culture, and then they go and they make campaigns and they sucker people into voting for them to go in and facilitate things like this. Where do you think this stuff happens? Heck, well, it happens in the public schools that you send your kids to. They get groomed there. You know, we keep talking about how government's the problem and not the answer, yet you send your kids to government schools. Like the government's going to fix these things. The government doesn't fix this stuff. You know, so it's tragic that this stuff happens, man, but I've been, you know, been warning about it, man. You can't, this is not a freaking sport, man. We treat this stuff like, you know, like it's a game. Get wound up like it's a game. Like our political guy, we want our political guy, our politics, and their politics. No, dude. You know, it's a serious business, man. Lives. Cost lives. Cost livelihoods. You know? And thinking that we're going to have some politician who's going to get in there and just going to whip the culture into shape. That's la la land, dude. It doesn't work that way. As I've said 1,000 times, Democrats are effective at doing what they do because they do it in the right order. They do the wrong thing in the right order. Spiritual, cultural, political. That is the order. Democrats answer to their demons. They're driven by their demons. They take that into the culture and lay the groundwork. Condition the culture to be receptive of the BS that they do. Vote in people who will ratify that stuff. That's the order of doing things. It's the right order, but the wrong reasons. The Republicans do it in the wrong order. They're politically motivated, and they think their politics is what's going to whip the culture into shape. And then, I don't know, God bless America. So that's about the extent of their spirituality. Like I said, most of them are more devoted and more, they're more disciplined in turning on Fox News and reading other articles and whatever. Way more than reading the Bible, if they ever pick up the Bible at all. Hey, I mean, heck, that's proven. They love people like, what's his name, General Flynn. You need to put the Bible down and read the Constitution.
In a church, he said.
In a church. Everybody in that church should have got up and walked out. That you would make the Constitution a holier document over the Bible itself. That's disgusting. Yeah. Don't even tell me about it. God bless America? Screw you. God bless it. For what? For what? That you would idolize the country of the creation over the creator? Yeah, that's what's wrong with our country, man. Mm-hmm. We got legions of Christless conservatives. Even those out there who beat their chest talking about Christ is king. And the only reason why they do it is to express their bigotry against the Jews. That's taking the Lord's name in vain. You gonna use him for that? That's wrong, man. If you're gonna say Christ is king, it should be only out of love for him, period. Not out of some sort of spiteful, petulant exercise against the Jews. Mm-hmm. What's wrong with you, man? You know, so that's what we got. That's what's happening to our country. It ain't just the left, it's the right too. That's why people can't tell the difference between the parties. That's why people keep saying, yeah, two birds are the same, you know, two wings of the same bird. They can't tell Republicans and Democrats apart.
The people I work with say that. They can't tell them apart.
Can't tell them apart, man. No matter how staunch you are on either side. And it's not because Democrats act like Republicans. It's always because Republicans act like Democrats. Yes. Even if you think you're the most rock-ribbed. The language that they use, it sounds just like Democrats. Yep. You know, and they don't see it. Because Republicans just think they're too smart to be fooled under the wiles of the Democrat Party. Democrats been at this game for a long time.
Yeah, when you think you're too smart, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's where they really got you. But I hate hearing about these tragedies, man. And this is why this stuff happens. It isn't, the politics aren't the answer to this. As Breitbart would say, politics is downstream from the culture.
Yeah, Southern TJ put that in the chat.
Oh, thank you. All right, you know what I'm saying? And y'all, it's hard, man. It's easier said than done. It's hard. Let me remind y'all of why it's hard. Let me remind you of this. Cultural influences are very difficult because a lot of it takes being able to entertain. All right? Entertaining is not easy. It's not an easy thing to do. It comes easier for Democrats. Why? That's just their personality matrix. It's easier for Democrats because storytelling, imagination, imaginative things, and being creative, well, a lot of that stuff is based on being able to, well, lie when it gets down to it. All right, it's Hollywood is the industry of make-believe, ain't it? And that's where Democrats rule. Democrats rule in an industry of make-believe. That's just their personality. That's who they are. So it comes easy to them. And in the industry of make-believe, it's easier to capture the fascination of people. It's easier to influence them. All right, because like I said, it's fascinating, it's entertaining, it's sensational. And this is where Democrats excel. It's not a place where people on the right excel. It's just not part of our personality matrix. Because dare I say, we're more geared towards what's pragmatic, practical, reasonable, real. The things that Democrats believe is imagination land. It's not real. They literally live in a land of make-believe, but because that's how they are, is how they're able to make the successes that they do in the damage of our country.
Yeah.
They're able to basically entertain our country off of a cliff. You see what I'm saying? It's difficult for Republicans to do that and to get people to steer away from that because Republicans, by their nature, just aren't wired for that. It's not a bad thing. Basically, it just makes us the adults in the room, if you will. Democrats are like freaking children. They just live in an imagination land. And even the things that children are into, a lot of time adults can be into. Yeah, I want to chase after the ice cream truck too. You know what I'm saying? But, at the same time, but I digress, y'all, because you know what? A lot of times, even the children want to do what adults do. And somehow, we got to be able to make those children be fascinated by what we adults do. You know what I'm saying? And when I say adults, I ain't talking about freaking porn.
Yeah.
Do the right things that adults are supposed to do. Like, say, for instance, hey, your kid may want to drive. Sometimes as the adults in the room, get like, well, tap into that fascination, right? Oh, that's an adult thing to do. Yeah, you want to be able to drive a car? Yeah, well, let's connect there. Just things like that, man. Somehow we got to be able to make the connection and draw their attention away from the things that they think they're entitled to according to their imaginations. The hatred that they spread according to their imaginations. So those things, man, they're not done politically. They're done spiritually. And then they're done culturally. So as if you don't get that, and you think that politically somehow we're going to stop stuff like this from happening. I mean, don't get me wrong, because it could be worse. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. I mean, of course, it's going to. It's written. Things are going to really go off the deep end. All right, but thinking that you can just vote this stuff away. The things that we'll really vote away, y'all, is our freedoms. That's what's really going to get voted away. But trying to vote away, this evil, no, man, you got to do cultural groundwork for that. You got to tap into the word and get spiritually fortified to know how to be mobilized in the culture, to know how to deal with it. And then when you have that, you have something solid for the politics to stand on. You notice how our politics just keeps collapsing? We end up with rhinos. You end up with people who just kind of like go astray. don't get with the program or whichever, and you just find yourself disappointed and stuff like that. I keep trying to tell you that stuff collapses, y'all, because the groundwork ain't there. It's built on sand, man. Ain't no spiritual footwork really been done.
Nope.
Cultural groundwork hadn't been laid. And your politicians, they cave. Right? You can have all the numbers you want. We just need strength in numbers. We need a super majority, and we need, just people to get out and vote and all that sort of stuff. Now, how long have we been saying
They're
that,
not
man?
even saying that anymore. What I hear is, no, we're just going to win because Trump won, so we're going to win the midterms. We
Yeah.
don't need to try.
Yeah, we're gonna make America great again. And ain't nobody can even define when that was. When to make America great again. Well, when was that? When was America great? When? Everybody gonna pretty much have a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
When was it? It's like, because when America was great for some people, it wasn't great for others. When was America just generally great? Maybe what, the Gilded Age? When was it? I mean,
The 20s before the Depression.
Yeah, so when this American greatness, don't get me wrong, I'd rather be here than any place else, the greatest country in the world.
Absolutely. We're not hating on America.
Not hating on America. But that kind of prideful sentiment about, hey, we're going to make America great and all this sort of stuff, it's like, once again, conservatives out there want to make America great again with their chest-beating pride, while ignoring the fact that the word says pride goes before destruction. Pride on all sides is gay. All right, I don't care if it's on the right or it's on the left. If it's pride, it's gay. And it will give America AIDS. All right? A mean case of the booty pox. It's all gay. So if that is the road that we're going to go down, then we're just going to be on a road to destruction. And, just to remind folks, if we don't get that straight, man, and we stop thinking that, I'm not saying don't be politically activist. You want to do your activism, that's fine.
Right.
I'm not saying your votes don't mean anything. I'm not saying that it doesn't mean anything to vet the quality people to run for office. I ain't saying none of that. I'm just saying that these people don't appear out of thin air. Okay? These people are shaped in the culture too. And if you don't do your due diligence, you're going to go in there with a person squawking like an eagle who's going to turn out to be a jive turkey. How long have I been saying that? How long y'all been seeing it? It doesn't happen just because of the politics. You have to lay the groundwork before that for them to stand on.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Nate Noble is watching on Facebook. He says, preach it and teach it.
Ah, Smooth. What's up, man?
And can we just take a moment to clap for a cute pumpkin clodhopper? I pulled my child out of the governmental indoctrination center.
Nice. Hey, it's hard, man. It's hard. I get it. I understand it, and that's where they cornered us. They got us. They put us in there. But we don't have to be trapped in that. They've made it to where they've made it to where that's one of the things that upsets me, like even culturally, like what Trump is talking about. When Trump is out there boasting about this economy, talking about how more women are out there working and whatnot, y'all, that's not something to brag about. All right? A good economy isn't marked by how many women are out there working. And don't get me wrong, man, if you're a woman and you want to work, work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm not saying that you can't or anything like that. For, hey, he's a chauvinist and all that. No. Okay? You got a passion, you got skills and things like that. I want to see you do what you're impassioned to do, as long as standards aren't cut for you to do them.
Yeah.
Certain things, I don't think I don't think there are certain jobs that men are fit to do. I think there are certain jobs that women aren't fit to do. And neither one is fit to do them if standards have to be changed to do them. But that's not my point. My point is, if you're thinking that an economy is great because more women are out there working, I don't think that's a sign of a great economy. Sign of a great economy is if a woman doesn't have to work. That's a good economy, where the man can go ahead and be the hunter-gatherer, provide for the household, and a woman does the administrative heavy lifting.
Yep.
She takes those resources and she manages the household, manages her husband's affairs, right? Is primary in the nurturing and the raising of their kids, and the husband is peripheral, right? That is a good economy.
Yeah.
You know, so if a woman wants to work, a lot of women are out there working because they have to. And Trump's like, yay, there's more jobs out there to fulfill your need to have to work. And once again, we got the cultural problem of, you know, when you have parents out there working, well, who's raising their kids? Well, the government is, which I thought was the problem, not the answer. You know, and as I was talking about, you know, before, I think it's funny how, you know, women who work are looked down. I mean, women who stay at home raising the kids and managing their husband's affairs are looked down on as lazy or, you know, or oppressed by their husbands.
Yep.
It's not a real job, right? Raising your kids ain't a real job. You see how crazy that sounds? Right? Managing your husband's affair, being that Proverbs 31 woman.
Yeah.
That's not a real job. You need to read it again. That's a job. All right? That's not just a job. That's entrepreneurial, is what it is. That's a businesswoman. And her husband is the product. You know? But I think it's funny how they'll make it like, you know, raising children is not a real job, you know, and stuff like that, but they celebrate the nanny. You know, when a nanny raises somebody else's kids, that's a job. When you raise your own kids, it ain't. What the crap is that? You're just some lazy woman who doesn't want to, or you're just oppressed by your husband. It's not really a job. But yay, nannies should be celebrated. You know. So all this stuff is cultural, man. You know, it's cultural stuff that we have to get over. Even in the economy, the politics of the economy, that stuff has to be handled spiritually, culturally, then politically. But saying that the economy is better because more women are working, no. Because that's going to affect. That's going to affect the next generation. Because while those women are working, who's raising them kids? Oh, and the reason why we're talking about it is because you had mentioned that you taking your kids out of public school, which is awesome. But like I said, I know it's difficult for some people. There's people who want to be able to do that. I want to take my kids out of the public school system, but, you know, and I get it, man. We ain't trying to judge. We know it's hard. It's been engineered that way.
Yep.
They don't want you raising your kids.
Exactly.
Right? They want to condition your kids. And they've made it to where you feel like you got to go work.
Yep. And most women don't want to raise their own kids today.
Yeah, and
that it's the school's job.
yeah. You know, it's I don't know, somehow it's beneath them or whichever. I don't know, it's weird.
They don't think they're capable, in my experience. Most of them don't think they're capable.
You know? This is what look, and once again, I'm not opposed to the career woman. I'm not. You know, but somehow if you want the career, you got to be able to balance that with, you know, you had them. Raise them. Don't send them to somebody else to do that. Because if you do, we end up with, you know, like the generation that we got now. And there's enough blame to go around for that. Can't just blame the boomers or the World War II generation, the boomers, the Gen Xers. Oh, man, we all got our share of blame as far as that goes. This generation now that y'all seeing with the pink hair and the freaking, you know, and trannies and all that sort of stuff, yeah, we did that. We Gen Xers dropped the ball on that, and if I may say, and maybe a lot of Gen Xers say, she don't need to apologize for me. I ain't got nothing to be sorry about. Well, that kind of denial is part of our problem. But as a Gen Xer, I'm like, wow, man, I'm sorry. Yeah, we dropped the ball. We dropped the ball somewhere, and this transgender, you know, and DEI stuff just really freaking exploded. You know, under our watch, we did that. And you got to do your spiritual due diligence, y'all.
Yeah.
It's got to be done. Were you gonna say something? Or somebody had a commento?
Yes. I was replying to somebody on Facebook. Happens to be our uncle. So this young lady who lost her life, do you think it's appropriate for women, young ladies, to be National Guardsmen?
Okay, so I'm going to try to dodge the word, forgive me, dodge the word appropriate, and maybe replace it with disappointing?
Jay, no.
Okay, but Jay has spoken. Because also let me add this. They were unarmed, right?
Correct. A third one who was armed is the one who got them away who took down the Afghani.
Now forgive me, y'all, because I please forgive my ignorance in military protocol.
I was going to say about the story. You've been
Yeah.
for 2 days.
Forgive my ignorance with military protocol on this, but it just seems that it would be a given that if you're a National Guardsman, that you would be on guard. You would be armed. I don't know in what situations they're not supposed to be. You know, I know like not at all times. You know, military personnel, you know, are not armed. But as a guardsman, you know, in this case, I mean, she really could have used that equalizer, I think.
Yes.
Now, in terms of women being National Guardsmen, I mean, it's not something that I would recommend. You know, when we're talking about, you know, national defense, that's just jobs better suited for men. Don't get me wrong, man. And not, you know, are there some women out there who can, you know, who could be just as tough as some men? Yeah, of course. We're talking about capacity here. All right. Men have the capacity, and you want to be able to exploit that capacity for certain occupations. All right. Men have the capacity to be smarter. We're not always smarter, but in capacity, we have that to be the smarter sex. All right? Carrie's smarter than I am. I have the capacity to be smarter than she is, but she just happens to be smarter than me.
Disagree.
All right? And in physicality, men are stronger. Generally, we have the capacity to be stronger. Are some women stronger than men? Sure. Those are anomalies. All right? It's not the norm. There's some exceptions. That being said, make the rule. You know, in terms of like law enforcement, you go work in a beat and stuff like that, law enforcement. Am I an objection of, like, say, for instance, women being police officers? Not exactly. I wouldn't recommend they be on the beat. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, there's in terms of maybe what, dispatch, administrative, you know, sure. Working the beat, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm sorry if some women are offended by that, you know, but I've known women who have gotten really hurt. Yep. You know, who have gotten really hurt. And to this day, some of them probably would not agree. I still think that, you know, women should be police officers and whatnot. It's like, okay, that's that pride. I'm not trying to shatter anybody's pride. Maybe I am. You know, because pride should be shattered. But, you know, that's not the point. I'm not, trying to be destructive or abrasive or any way condescending or mean or anything like that. I just don't think it's a compliment to the force. I think it's a waste of a woman's energy, a waste of, you know, what she is, to put her in a role like that, you know, or to what's the word I'm looking for? To embolden or patronize them to do such a thing, you know. So all that to say, like, in terms of a National Guardsman role, why I say disappointment, it's like is there such a lack of men?
Exactly.
You know, is there such a lack of men?
Like in Deborah's case.
Right, because a lot of folks, you know, they'll use Deborah as an example of, you know, of things that should be allowed. It's like you have to understand these are signs of a nation being under judgment. It's not really supposed to happen that way, but it was allowed, right? There's what God tolerates, and there's what God allows, but it's not idea. Case in point, like polygamy. God doesn't condone polygamy. He allowed it for certain reasons, right? Even incest was allowed for a while. It's not how we were supposed to populate the earth. Adam and Eve screwed that up for us. All right, so now that had to be what was relied on to populate the earth until God was like, okay, it's no more of that. Wasn't how I wanted to populate, but thanks guys. Thanks for messing up my plans here. You know, but we weren't supposed to populate the earth that way, but I think the earth is populated enough. Knock that stuff off. You do it again, I'll kill you. Right? So it's that kind of thing. There's things that the Lord allows or tolerates. So, and y'all, I'm not judging, man. I didn't sign up for, well, I did sign up for the Navy, and I wasn't allowed. I was held up for a jaywalking ticket that I failed to appear in court for, and that popped up on my record when I went to enlist in the Navy. And, and since they turned me down, I was like, well, you know what? I'm just probably not supposed to do this. It's like something like that from what 13 years ago at the time. That's going to haunt me? Really? They're going to pull that up? You know what? I'm just going to take that. I don't even believe in you yet. This is the time I was more of a agnostic, borderline atheist. Like, I don't even know if I believe in you. But I'm going to take that as a sign that maybe I'm not supposed to go into the Navy. But, you know, with the National Guardsmen, and why I was saying it's disappointing is that, man, there's not enough men, you know, willing to step up and get in there to where it's like women feel like they don't need to do it. Because women, y'all, I don't know, women for a long time, a lot of the stuff is that they're doing it because they've got something to prove, you know, or because they're just so disenchanted with men. Men have definitely done their job of making women feel like they're not secure. You know, when you've got men who are just checked out and they treat women like crap. You know, going down the street, listen to songs that's calling women the B word and all over and over and over again. That's how the men see them. And that's really popular. You just a B word, you a skeezer, you this and you that. You know, women don't feel secure around men. And if men aren't insulting women and treating them like trash, you got men trying to be women. So women, they don't feel secure. So out of that, they're like, you know, I want to get it. I'm going to go into the military. Look like men ain't stepping up. They ain't doing nothing for me. If they ain't doing nothing for me, why should I feel safe that they're going to defend the country? So I get it why women are doing that. And like I said, you know, when you got a bunch of men out there who are becoming, you know, feminized and whatnot, women want men to be all feminists and stuff like that and support them and whatever. But at the same time, women don't feel secure about it. It's like women who are okay with men going into their sports. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, you want to feel good about yourself because you support men acting like women while being mad that men are going in there and beating you at your sports. Which one is it? You know?
Brian Dale Rainsberger, brother from a long time ago.
All right.
He's watching on Facebook. He says, hey, bro, long time no see. Who was stronger, She-Ra or G.I. Joe?
Well, you know, She-Ra did have the power of Grayskull, though. It's like, you know. We are talking about, She-Ra.
Wait.
She-Ra, she was part of the He-Man franchise, right?
I was thinking so, but now I have to check.
No, it was She-Ra. She-Ra was part of the He-Man franchise. He-Man with them booty shorts, right? Everybody on Planet Eternia had the booty shorts, right? Man at Arms, booty shorts.
Yeah, twin sister He-Man. Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, they
remembered correctly.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait, freeze. I didn't know that She-Ra was He-Man's sister. Right? Is that what you just said?
That's what it says, yeah. I guess I thought so as a kid too, but
Who am I getting her confused with?
my naive little childhood brain.
I feel like I'm getting her confused with somebody. Seemed like it was Tila. Anybody who remember who Tila was? I'm gonna do some Googling. Y'all excuse me for a minute while I Google some stuff. Who was, okay, Tila.
My mic isn't on, so I can't be
Oh,
helping out.
I'm sorry, because y'all still can't hear. You can only hear it through my microphone still?
Yep.
Man. Okay, yeah, Tila. She was, oh no, Tila was Master at Arms' daughter, right? And I don't think there was any sort of tension, sexual.
Oh, goodness.
I don't think there was any sort of sexual tension between T-Man and no. I think Tila, she kind of liked He-Man. I think she kind of liked He-Man, staring at his booty shorts, but Prince Adam though. That's how that was He-Man's his diversion, keeping her at bay, was he become Prince Adam and she get all turned off, right? I don't like Prince Adam. He too Prince Adam.
Laura and Prince Adam, respectively.
She-Ra
and He-Man.
I didn't know that they was siblings though. Oh, well, I'm glad. Well, I mean, as a kid, I didn't really care about it. I guess I'm glad I didn't think like, man, they should hook up.
Speaking of incest.
And God striking things down. And it's like, yeah, we ain't gonna have that. I didn't know that they were siblings. So anyway. And yeah, I think the only one on Eternia that didn't have booty shorts was Orko. Orko didn't have the booty shorts. But Battle Cat, well, he didn't have booty shorts. No. Yeah, so only Battle Cat and what was Battle Cat's like name when he wasn't Battle Cat? Oh man, anybody remember what his name was? I know it wasn't Schnarf. Seemed like it started with a G or something like that. Anybody remember? Grip? No. Help me out, folks. What was Battle Cat's name? So yeah, Orko didn't have booty shorts, and Skeletor liked to rock the booty shorts. Yeah. Curse you, He-Man! You know I do a good Skeletor. All right, so.
Wait, so squirrel moment. Brian wants to know what's up with 20-pound sledge.
Oh man. Okay, so and thank you for asking. Hey, thank you for reminding me. See, I am such a horrible networker. Lord help me with that. I'm bad at it. Okay, since you're asking, folks, you know what I would really appreciate, since I talk about all this cultural stuff and whatnot, and y'all, we have to represent. Okay, those things have to be represented, man. Musically, visually, all that sort of stuff. We have to be able to find creative ways, compelling ways to make our case. It can't just be us trying to reason with people. You got to be creative with that stuff. Anyway, 20-pound sledge. Folks, okay. If you go to my website, bronzeserpentmedia.com, hit that Sledge X tab. All right, you should see a drop-down menu, and you'll see the albums. Divine Battery is the first album. Electric Exodus is the second album. Those albums, y'all, they link to different platforms, right? They'll go to Spotify. They'll go to SoundCloud, iTunes Music, all that sort of stuff. Y'all, please, pretty please. All right, and I'll probably forget, but my intentions are to ask this a lot, and I don't mean to bug you guys, but heck, man, if other outlets can go out there and say, hey, if you just subscribe and give us money, I don't like to be like that. I don't like to, prod people for, support, but for real, man, if you go to these platforms, Amazon, SoundCloud, Spotify, y'all please go there and leave a rating and review. All right. We need to get those albums. If I do say so myself, all right, I'm not. I know everybody thinks that their baby is cute, but listen, I really do feel like. I'm sorry to use the word feelings, but those two albums, man, Divine Battery and Electric Exodus, y'all, I think there's some pretty decent albums. You know, there's, you know, as the saying goes, all killer and no filler. Forgive me, I'm not trying to brag, man. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that. I think there are two albums. I think there are two really solid rock albums. You know, I sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who enjoys listening to them. But I know, I mean, because I wear them albums out. When I say I'm the only one, because I mean, I wear them albums out. It's pretty much what I like to listen to the most, more than anything else. I know that sounds really self-absorbed, but I really do enjoy the albums. Yeah, I made the music on them and stuff like that. And, you know, of course, it seems like naturally that I would like them. But no, I just really enjoy them. So all that to say, y'all, I hope that if you haven't heard them and you like rock music, that you'll give them a chance. Take a listen. You can listen to the albums on my website for free. But please go to follow the link to Amazon. There's links to Amazon, SoundCloud, Spotify. If you, iTunes or Apple Music, leave a rating and review. Please. I mean, we got to try to prompt people to because, you know, the algorithm ain't going to let me promote this stuff. They're trying to keep me hidden. The only opportunity, all I got is y'all. You know, to try to help get eyes on it and say, oh, there's a 5-star. This has an average of good 5-star ratings and some good reviews. Maybe I should check this album out. Because, y'all, here's the thing. Hardly anybody sees the albums. Hardly anybody sees them. And the more I try to promote them, the less people see them. It's like the algorithm is a compressor.
It's an anti-algorithm for you.
Yeah, it's a compressor. The more I try to put them out, the more it squeezes them, and the less people see them. But this is the thing I do know: when people see the album, when they see a link to it, and they go listen to it, usually they buy music from it because they do like it. Just people are kept from hearing about it. They're kept from seeing it. And like I said, when eyes do get on it, people are intrigued. They add it to their collection. It's just few and far between because hardly anybody gets to see it. So in terms of 20-pound sledge, which is now Sledge X, and the reason why it's called Sledge X is because I wanted one, well, not necessarily first of all, but I changed from 20-pound sledge to Sledge X just to make it, because of this algorithm, I wanted to make the name easier to find. So instead of people like, is it spelled 20 pound? Do I use LB or do I spell out pound? I just wanted to make it easier, so I changed it to Sledge X. More importantly, the X, of course, you know, representing the cross. You know, we got this cross on there, so I want the Christ element to be, you know, in there. And I'm a Gen Xer, so Sledge X. And you know, if you look at the logo, you can see that the X almost looks like 2 X's, so 20 pound is still represented in there, right? Because, you know, 2 X's, 20. So in making new music, one, I don't have a band. And even though I do all the music myself on the recordings, all the music that you hear is done by me, but I have singers, right? Like on Divine Battery, that was Eli. Eli was singing on that one. With me doing backup vocals and layers, and on the Electric Exodus, that was Todd Stevens. You know, he was XLDBD or Death Before Dishonor. That was his group. Still, I think he's still doing that. So in doing another album, I really would like to have a band to perform live with, because if I do another album, I ain't gonna be able to perform it. I never even got to perform the Electric Exodus album. That's which is really sad. I really would have liked to done some shows. We did shows with the Divine Battery album. Never got to do any shows with the Electric Exodus album, which is really, you know, really sad for me because I think Electric Exodus is a really in its own, you know, Divine Battery and Electric Exodus, two totally different. And I think with Electric Exodus and Divine Battery, you still know that, hey, this is still Sledge. Consistently Sledge. But the angles that they come from, it's like, wow, man, this album is hitting in a whole nother way than Divine Battery. And Divine Battery hits in a whole nother way than Electric Exodus. Yeah. I think Divine Battery had more of a grind to it. And I think Electric Exodus is chunkier. Divine Battery is good for daytime driving, and Electric Exodus is good for nighttime driving. Yeah, it's like this. That's kind of like the contrast between the two that I really see with them. Yeah. If it was like a sweetener, Divine Battery would be like honey, and Electric Exodus would be like molasses. That's how I would kind of describe them. Divine Battery would be like a fillet and a very good, well-seasoned, grass-fed fillet, and Electric Exodus would be like venison. So it's just in their degree of meatiness, I don't know. There's just a different kind of meatiness to each one of them. All that to say, in the third album, what's holding me up from making the third album is not only do I not have a band to perform it with live, I could do the music myself, but I don't really have somebody who's going to do the singing. I don't really want to do the singing. One, two, I really want to. I want to get my control room built. I just barely got the Zo Loft built, because, sorry, I don't mean to make a sob story. Just the funds, my support pool, as much as I appreciate y'all and bless it, it's small. My audience is small, so my support, the funds, is reflective of how small my audience is. Y'all are big to me, but in terms of, population, it's small. So it takes a while to get things built. It took me a long time. Y'all know I've been talking about this set for a long time, and I finally got it built. Finally got the funds to finally get it built. And so to work on an album, I need a controlled room. I need a tuned room. And my workshop, right at this point, my workshop doesn't have enough room in it. I need to build an extension on it. So when I get, the funds come in, if I'm able to save enough, and I don't know how long it's going to take. But when I get that done, I want to get my control room built and tune that room. And then from there, I'll start working on the next Sledge album. I've got songs drafted, of course, as a musician, we're going to have things drafted. And so the next Sledge X album, God willing, I'll get another one done, but it's kind of contingent on that.
Brian met you at Angel City.
Oh, yeah, Angel City, man, that's memories.
Nostalgia.
For real, man.
Band.
Heck
That was
yeah.
his band.
Huh?
That was his band.
Yeah, for real, man. Nostalgia. And man. I was that room. And it's like, I was just thinking about how, man, I was trying not to say, I'm just gonna use it horrible. I was like, is there another word that I could use? I'm just gonna say it. The sound in there was just horrendous, but it was, man. It was just, the reflectivity in there, and when you put those speakers in there, when you got the back line, and you're pumping them through some house speakers and stuff like that, and just all that reflectivity in there, it just sounded so horrible. But the vibe, though, man, it was a cool place to play, and I'm grateful that we got to play there and make a whole bunch of noise. Oh man. Okay, what else we got? Yeah.
Are you done?
What about nostalgia, man? Are y'all still doing stuff?
Yeah, man. I think he's in Ohio because he says y'all should come to Ohio and play the Immortal Fest.
Okay, well, hey, God willing, make that happen for us. I need a band.
Yeah, because Al's in Ohio too.
I always have it doesn't matter where I am, I always have the same problem trying to staff a band. Even when I was like in LA, it took forever to try to find folks for 20 Pound Sledge. And even when and it's like, well, that's because you only, were looking for black people. And it's like, and for y'all who don't know, let me explain that. Doing 20 Pound Sledge, the reason why it wasn't out of like Afrocentrism or anything like that, or excluding, white people from the band or anybody else. 20 Pound Sledge was, is a Christian rock band. And what does that have to do with being black? So bear with me. It's like, isn't Christianity for everybody? Yes, it is. All right. The reason why it was staffed with blacks only. First, it used to be, before I did 20 Pound Sledge, it was Super Slave. And Super Slave was also another black rock band. And the reason why was because we always thought it was, for those who I connected with, it was like, dude, it's dumb that people put these limitations on what kind of music people should do. Like, if you're black, you should only listen to rap music or R&B and stuff like that. If you're white, you should only be listening to rock music. Rock music is for white people, and this kind of music is for black people. And we always thought that was dumb. So we wanted to counter that narrative. So we were gonna, be another one of those bands. There was, like Living Color, and there was 24/7 Spies and Fishbone, who were, we're counterculture. Even though, Fishbone is, they're off the deep end with their leftism. Anyway, but it was, for us, it was like, man, this kind of, these narratives in the culture, these stupid race narratives, that stuff's got to stop, man. So instead of people thinking that, because you're of this persuasion, you have to listen to this kind of music, we're like, no, screw that, man. We'll go ahead and put a rock band together, and we'll do our little part to dispel that narrative. From there, in 20 Pound Sledge, it was still the point of it being an all-black rock band, but for this reason, because I had started to see that more and more at the time, and it's still, people still do it today. It like comes in waves. Sometimes it's really prominent, sometimes it laxes, then it comes back again. This whole thing about Christianity being the white man's religion, oh, you and your white Jesus and all that sort of stuff, and for that, you had a lot of blacks who were being seduced into going for Islam because, hey, it's the religion of the black man and all that sort of stuff. Being even I almost got stuck into it. I almost went into fruit of Islam. Being suckered by that stuff. I was like, wait a minute, man, no. So it's like I wanted to find some like-minded black players to be like, look, man, we have to get out there and stop this nonsense of people out there trying to say that you're suckered by the white man's religion. And it's like, dude, Jesus himself, is an Asiatic Jew. All right, he wasn't European. He wasn't white. So trying to make him out to be like white Jesus and say it's the religion of the white man is kind of dumb. So we wanted to do our part, to be like, look, man, the gospel is for everybody. But, if you're going to try to make it out to be like it's, a white man's religion and you need to, get into the religion of the black man, like Islam and stuff like that, it's like, no. So that was the reason why, we kind of wanted to make this bold statement of everybody at 20 Pound Sledge being black and get out there and rock the gospel. It was for Christ that we were doing that, and just kind of stop it with this whole thing of this, do our part, not that we were going to be the single-handed thing to do it, but just do our part to say that, this, thing about Christianity being the religion of the white man is dumb. You're cheating people out of knowing the truth, embodied in Christ himself, which is for everybody. So that was that way. Now I'm like, I'm not so much focused on, what persuasion, as long as you understand that the Lord is the truth. I don't care at this point. It's hard enough to staff a band, but I don't reckon I'm going to be as discriminate. You know, if you got the chops, if you got the skill or whichever, don't care, just as long as you are motivated, you know, by Christ, you know.
Yes.
Anyway, let's see, what else did we have here?
Maybe an update on the shooter?
Oh, was there an update?
Yeah, it's one of the articles.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
so we've just discussed one of the soldiers passed away, the girl.
Yeah, yeah, and hopefully, well, was the update on the condition of the?
From my news article, he's still hanging on, but
Okay, okay,
just prayers.
right, yeah, prayers.
If anybody has an update in the chat.
Right. Let me see. And we got this article right here. President says any document signed by Biden's autopen is hereby terminated. All right. Let's read a little bit of that. And get out of my face, ad. Open this up. President Autopen. Okay, I get it. That's his nickname. Entire 4 years is about to be essentially terminated if President Trump gets his way. If, all right.
Big if.
I'm hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by Crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the autopen did so illegally. All right. So on Truth Social, President Trump just announced that the executive, okay, we got that. I wish I hadn't read this because you know my pet peeve. You know my pet peeve, y'all. You know my pet peeve is when conservatives call Democrats radicals. You got me started, man. I wish I hadn't seen that, man, because I'm gonna go off. All right, the left are not freaking radicals, and Trump he's like, man, they're not radicals, man. Radicals is rooted. They're not rooted in anything. They're not stable. That's what radical means. It doesn't just mean crazy. Anyway, you guys know. Drives me crazy, man. You understand? That's why people think the party switched sides. Republican Party were the real radicals. The real ones. You gave that distinction to the Democrats. You wonder why you have such a hard time with them, man. Anyway, but hey, you know what? Hey, Trump. Would you, if this goes through, if you're able to, undo all of the auto pinning of the Biden administration, guess what that would be? It would be radical. Yeah.
What?
That would probably be one of the most radical things that you've done as president. Now you would be actually acting, that would be very Republican. If you were to do that. Yeah. See, radical means to get to the root of things. See, the Democrats have been uprooting us. That's not radical. It's not radical to uproot things. The Democrats have been uprooting the Republic, and they've definitely uprooted the Republican Party. Republicans hadn't been radical for a long time. This would be radical. To get things back to the root. To get us away from this rebellion that the Democrats have been doing with this auto pen. If you did that, Trump, you would have done something radical. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, I think you guys get the point.
It says that the auto pen is not allowed to be used if approval is not specifically given by the president. And there are many occasions where we've got proof that they just use the auto pen. And President Biden people have asked, like governors have asked, why did you, do this to our state? And he's like, I didn't. Like, well, you auto-penned it then because you're doing this to our state.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of good to.
He has no idea what he signed or what the auto-pen did.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more hands-on, and you shouldn't. It's not like it's your job to be micromanaging stuff. And you really shouldn't have just an if you yourself shouldn't micromanage things, you really shouldn't automate micromanagement.
Yeah.
There's anyway. I'm glad that this is.
Can you let Mark Millet know that I
Yeah.
Gremlin tonight.
Actually, that's what I should be. I should get a little closer. Now don't be shy. You know, I should sit closer so folks can hear you in my microphone. And once again, y'all, I apologize because there's no good reason that I can see of why it is that Carrie's not coming. Her signal is practically. I can see my signal coming through better in her chain than I can see in mine. You should hear her very clear. And no, I'm not in the wrong. I'm not in her signal chain and she's in someplace else. I'm in my signal chain. For some dumb reason, you know, it's gremlins. Yep. Yeah. Let's see. What else we got here? Trump corners Democrats with new health care plan. Big insurance is panicking. Now, yeah, hopefully they're panicking. I mean, one would think that, hey, man, you're gonna get to, now this is big insurance. And to me, big insurance is basically this federal HMO that we have. That's big insurance. You know, it's the irony is that, you know, the big sell of you know, Obamacare and stuff like that is that, well, you know, the insurance companies have a monopoly. So you don't want the big insurance companies to have a monopoly. You want the government to have a monopoly on the insurance. You know, that's the way you want it to be. You want them running things as far as insurance goes. And I guess, yeah, the insurance companies wants, you know, they want their rations. You know, they want their government rations. Like, dang. And see, and y'all, this is the cronyism that we have. This is another example of that cronyism. They embed with each other. And y'all, and y'all, this isn't crony capitalism. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as crony capitalism. Capitalism is capitalism or it isn't. If you try to call it crony capitalism, it's a no. Mm-hmm. All right. But in this cronyism that we have, yeah, I guess the insurance companies would be panicking. And another example of cultural moves that have to be made. I know Trump is out there trying to sell, you know, what he's doing with the new healthcare plan. Is telling people that, hey, you're going to have your own money to buy health insurance. Okay, I get that, but I think this is something that Republicans don't understand about collectivists, the left, the Democrats. You know, they don't care, and they're not interested in having their own money to pay for their health insurance. That's not a positive for them. Yeah. You understand? They don't take that as a win. A better world to them and a win for them isn't them having their own money to pay for their health insurance. It's having your money to do it. And that's something that Republicans don't seem to understand about Democrats. All right? And because they don't understand this, and I'm not just pulling this out of thin air, because they don't understand this, we're going to be faced with some other slick politician who's going to come out of nowhere, just the way Obama did, yep, and seduce people and stoke the flames of people thinking that health care is a right and it should be paid for by society. That society should be responsible for everybody's health care needs. It's a right. Okay? And if you don't get it, you're just greedy and you don't care if people die. You know, you don't care if children starve or die or have disease and whatever. All right? And they're going to make anything a healthcare right. Abortion, healthcare, whatever. So this can't just be a political thing. And if you're selling it as you're going to have your own money, there's a wall that you've just run into right there. They don't care about having their own money to pay for their health insurance. They care about having your money to do it. You got to be able to get in there and say, dude, you're not entitled to have other people pay into other people's health care. You got to be able to sell that. And it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
For some stupid reason, it's hard sell to let people know that you're not entitled to the fruits of somebody else's labor to afford what you feel entitled to. Okay, this slavery's been gone for a long time ago. You know, no more slavery. It's not. This ain't even socialism. It ain't even communism. What you're talking about is slavery. You want other people to facilitate your needs. They got to give up what they worked for. They worked, and they have to give up some of it. That's like slavery. That's serfdom. You know, you want people to facilitate your needs, and you don't want to have to pay for it. Where do you think that money gonna come from? You know, so we have to be able to get people to understand that. That spell can be broken, y'all. I mean, it's not going to be completely broken. You're always going to have something, but y'all, it doesn't have to be this bad. You know? Dang. Let's see.
Mark says you should just sit in his lap. Or sit in your lap.
Yeah, there you go. I like this idea. Only thing is, I'd have to do this. Yeah.
No.
You know where that's gonna lead, you know what I'm saying? All right, so, let's see. Federal judge dismisses charges against James Comey and Letitia James. Well, that's a shame. You know, it wouldn't have been. I know it would have been so nice to nail that witch. But listen, y'all.
And Comey, that really
Yeah, right. Okay, y'all. Forgive me, because I'm gonna say it again. That's what I'm saying. Y'all, culturally, the deck is stacked, man. It's stacked. It's like, yeah, when you got these activist judges, legions of liberal lawyers and all these litigators and whatever, man, these people don't appear out of thin air. It's like, they're shaped, they're groomed in the culture. And then they take that stuff to the bench, man. They take these things in as officers of the court. You got to get to them before you think that you can do something about them politically. This stuff has the roadblock to that stuff has to happen way before that.
Yeah.
You got to throw that roadblock up spiritually, man. You got to throw that roadblock up culturally. That way their politics collapses instead of ours. Right? So we got to do our spiritual and cultural groundwork to hold up ours and destroy the demons that they're given over to. Okay? We're supposed to be doing that, man. We're supposed to be, we need to be the ones who are able to call on the Lord and call them demons out and get them to jump into pigs and fly off a cliff. We're supposed to be doing that. But no, we're waiting for some political messiah to do it. Yeah. So these people, they get away with this stuff because it's like the deck is stacked so much. Every turn. Why? They get by, man, because while we're waiting for the politics to do something about it, these people are just flooding in. You know? And don't get me wrong, man. I'm not poo-pooing the accomplishment that Trump is doing. I'm not. I'm just trying to say, dude, they're not sustainable. They're not going to hold up. They're going to be enjoyed for a very short period of time because it's built on sand. All right, that's all I'm saying. It's like, look, man, he's fighting. He's got a hard fight ahead of him, and he's hanging in there, taking shots, literally. You know, he's up against a behemoth, man. He really is. But his job wouldn't be as hard as it is if the cultural and the spiritual groundwork was laid and he stopped doing things that sabotage himself. And MAGA does a lot of things to sabotage themselves. They really make this a lot more difficult for themselves than it has to be. Why do you make it so difficult? Why? Just you can say, look at Trump, he's a champ, he's tough, and he goes through. It's like, that's sadistic, man. It's like Democrats aren't the only ones making things hard for Trump. MAGA itself is making things hard for Trump. Because of the stuff that they're giving over to what Democrats do. Democrats lead them around by their nose. They get them to respond exactly how they want them to. And it makes it that much harder. This is freaking abuse. You're helping the Democrats make things harder for Trump, and you're cheering Trump on to keep on going. That's pretty freaking cruel. And Trump is a lot of times makes things harder for himself also. It's like, dude, you don't have to do that. I would advise you not do that. This really doesn't have to be that hard. But, let's see.
Well, what do you think? I was actually curious. What do you think of taxpayer dollars still going to buy our health insurance? It's just going to come directly to us?
Well, it's money that already belongs to us. It's like, thanks for the refund. And I think that's, I'm pretty sure that that's what Trump means.
Yeah.
It's our money anyway. But just unfortunately for where the Democrats are coming from, it's not, they don't see it as, our money. They see it as theirs. It's almost like you guys ever heard of, I don't know if it's a national commercial, if it's a national franchise. You guys, I don't know if you've heard of Optima Tax Relief.
Yeah.
Man, I get so disgusted when I hear that commercial. Because they become an Optima Tax Relief. And then it's like, the IRS is coming and they want their money. I'm like, excuse me? But see, people are in the mindset that you owe, right? The IRS is we owe them. We don't owe them anything. It's our money.
Yeah.
Okay? They are violating our right to property. I earned it. It's my money. You earned it. It's your money. And the government does not have the right to deprive you of it. It's your property. So, if anything, then yeah, this would be a refund. Mm-hmm. It's not like the government is giving us this money.
Right.
Not giving me money to pay for health care. Give me back my money.
But you have to buy it. You have to buy health care.
Yeah, you do. It's well. When you say have to buy it,
it's going to go into like a savings, a healthcare account. So you have to buy it. The money that they're going to give you, you have to buy health insurance with it.
So
or you have to pay for your health care.
And what if people don't?
I don't know if they'll have the option. I don't know.
Okay, the reason I'm asking, okay.
They'll be fined.
Would they be fined? Like under Obamacare? The Affordable Care Act. It's like, I'm not getting it because I can't afford it, and then you're going to penalize me for it. That doesn't sound affordable. Got to take out I need financial assistance to pay for this health care that's supposed to be affordable. That don't make any sense. But how is this? Help me out, folks. I'm not trying to poo-poo it, without, and I don't mean to sound ignorant, but okay, so you're going to give us our own money. Okay. For you to buy your own health care. Now, I'm admittedly being ignorant here. I thought it was, we're going to give you back your own money and you have the option to buy your health care.
No.
So you don't even have the option. This money is for you to buy health care with.
Yes. Or you don't necessarily have to have a health care plan like insurance, but you got to pay for healthcare stuff like doctors and pills.
Wow.
Because we already have a health savings account in this country where your dollars, it's pre-tax dollars that go into a health savings account, and you use it to pay for your health care needs.
I've always under the impression that all the money just went into a general fund. But yeah, that's like, I don't know if I'm like sold on that. Yeah, it's like, listen, it's so you're gonna give us back our money, but you're gonna dictate what we're gonna do with it. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all, because hey, listen, A lot of times if people get their money, they don't want to spend it on health care. I get it. You know, some people out there young and stuff, they're young and healthy and whatever. And it's like, man, I don't need no health insurance. You know, I want to use this to save it for whatever else I want to save it for. It's mine, ain't it? But yeah, to be like, okay, first up, if you're giving this money back to us, I'm assuming that you are, you know, acknowledging that this money belongs to us.
Yeah.
Give it back. And then, but the condition, man, it's not supposed to put conditions on what belongs to us. It's mine. You don't put conditions on it. I'm giving you this back, but you have to use it for health. I don't know, man. That doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
Something very wrong here. I don't like it.
Okay, we got a couple things to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Zacked out at 41:55. I get the argument of not wanting women in harm's way, but women don't have to serve to be in harm's way. The same week these guardsmen were attacked, a woman was set on fire on a train.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. But that's kind of like that reminds me of, you know, the argument between firearms and cars. You know, a firearm is people get killed, unfortunately, in car accidents all the time. But the difference between a firearm and a car is that a firearm is actually designed to kill people. Cars are designed to transport people. Can people be killed by a car? Yes, but that's not what the car was made for. It was made to transport people. Sure, there's occupations that women can go to that they might, you know, be in danger with, but it's not like the occupation itself is for the purpose of being in harm's way. You know, a person can get killed delivering a pizza. You know, but a person delivering a pizza isn't, you know, it's not a occupation where it's like, hey, I'm going to be going into harm's way or something like that. I'm not going into, you know, I mean, I guess it depends on what city you live in. You know what I'm saying? But you get the point. You know, there's just certain things that, that you do, certain jobs that are not as hazard oriented. I hope that, you know, makes sense. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, just because women can get hurt, you know, riding a train doesn't mean they should be in guardsmen and combat positions.
Yeah, it's the hazard level is just not the same. Sure, it can happen. You know, people. I mean, I doubt that more people are killed in America on trains than people who are than we would have war dead. You know what I'm saying? It's person gets killed on a train. Unfortunately, like I said, it just depends on what city you're in. But I mean, you know,
Chicago or New York.
You know, where people are, what do they call it, Chirac?
Yeah.
You know, people unfortunately, you know, get killed, you know, in the streets there. But that's not what the train is for. But if you go into the military, that's the job, is that you may be put in that situation.
Right. Nate Noble, watched on Facebook, says, remind your followers that your episode drops tomorrow at noon Pacific on Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast on all podcast platforms.
Hey, okay, so I got a date. I was on the Nate Noble podcast, and so, you know, Nate was nice enough to interview me about some stuff that I'm working on. And so if you guys want to catch that interview, you know, look up Nate Smooth or Nate Noble podcast. Look that up and show him some love, and you know, check out the interview that we're going to do. That I guess, like you said, is going to drop tomorrow, and you'll be able to find all the platforms that it'll be available on.
Nice. And Brian Nostalgia came to an end when I made the move to Grand Rapids, Michigan in 2015. I was in Southern California for 44 years.
Woo!
I said, do you miss it? And of course, like us, he misses aspects of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We definitely, we got a lot of, man, California. We do miss us about certain aspects. Other things, we we had to get away from there.
Yep.
Lastly, let's, we had, would-be Texan pirates. Yeehaw! Actually, it'd be more like, yeehaw! If they're Texas pirates, yeehaw! Texas pirates charged with a plot to recruit homeless Washingtonians to invade Haitian island and enslave locals.
And it is a real article.
Yeah. So, man. So they were gonna go there. And let's read a little bit of it. Copy link address. Let's go into this here.
And they were charged by, I believe, the FBI because they really did try to pull this off.
Yeah. Both of them somehow look like John Wilkes Booth. Both of them somehow remind me of it. Yeah. Let's see.
Represent
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, exactly, right? 2 North Texas men have been charged with a plot that included invading an island off Haiti, murdering the men on the island, and enslaving women and children. 21, actually, Gavin Rivers Weisenberg. Okay.
It's not exactly the white Nazi name you had in mind, huh?
Yes. Okay. So he.
White supremacist name.
No. So he. Okay. So Gavin Rivers Weisenberg. It must be a Jew of the Soros variety.
Yes.
I'd say he's one of those.
Yes.
Soros, he's a Hungarian Jew, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is Gavin Rivers Weisenberg must be one of those. Or what's that dude? What's his name? Noah Alvey. That guy with the World Economic Forum.
Oh, Yuval Noah Harari.
Yeah, he's like one of those where it's just he's just an elitist. Yeah. So anyway, or he may just have that name and has nothing to do with being Jewish. I guess I don't know.
The other guy's name is normal though.
That sounded very.
Well, you know what I mean.
Oh, how do I dig out of that hole? What was the other guy's name?
Tanner Christopher Thomas.
Tanner.
Happy little Texas.
Right.
Name.
Christopher Thomas. All right. Let's see. And there we go. Thomas 20 of Argyle were named in an indictment returned by.
Upper middle class suburb.
Yeah.
In the DFW area.
See, I guess they had them a good wholesome upbringing, and just goes to show. District of Texas charging them with conspiracy to murder, maim, or kidnap in a foreign country and production of child pornography. If convicted, they face up to life in prison. Yes, lock them up, throw away the key.
It's Texas. They might actually spend life in prison. If it was California, they'd be released in 2 years.
I don't know. It's okay. So but they're going over to Haiti though, and in California, Black Lives Matter. So they'd probably be really offended by this.
Yeah.
I don't know, but here, I mean, hopefully they'll throw the book at them. I don't care what country it is. I don't care if it's any kind of other country. I wouldn't care if it was here. You don't be plotting to murder people, man.
No.
The 2 men are 21-year-old Gavin Rivers. Okay, we read that.
Because you'll never believe the lengths they went to, according to the FBI, and then it talks about what they did.
To enact the invasion as Pirates of the Caribbean. Weisenberg and Thomas undertook numerous overt acts in furtherance of their invasion plan, including making operational and logistical plans, learning Haitian Creole language, recruiting others to join the invasion plan, and researching and enrolling in schools to acquire skills relevant to the invasion plan. Thomas even enlisted in the U.S. Air Force to acquire military skills relevant to the invasion plan. Okay, so these are the kind of people who are going into the military. Yeah,
that's what they want.
well, I mean, lots of people of all walks go into the military. Some who shouldn't be in there, but and that is what it is. But it's just funny that yeah. Anyway, don't get me started. That's not all. Thomas requested a transfer to Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland, where he would be close to D.C. Why, do you ask? Were they planning to commandeer a ship? No, for recruitment purposes, of course. So I guess if they were going to D.C.,
Yeah.
so I guess they, which means that they wanted to get a whole bunch of black people. They wanted to recruit a bunch of black people.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And I mean,
they
Rich.
were looking for homeless people.
Okay. You know what Richard Pryor calls Washington, D.C.? Dark country. So they went there to recruit black folks. I guess they really wanted a black-on-black campaign. We're going to recruit a bunch of black folks to go over to Haiti and slaughter all the men. Yeah, come on, you guys are big on black crime. Come on, it'll be fun. All right. So after this, he planned on getting sailboats and setting off. Yee-har! All right. Conquer an island of nearly 100,000 people, capitalizing on the current and ongoing chaos in the failed nation of Haiti. Once there, the plan was to kill all the men and turn the women into sex slaves. All right. So,
And the children.
and hey, hey, Haitians, if that voodoo stuff really works, now'd be a good time to do it. I don't believe in voodoo, but and if it did work, you should make one of them dolls and stab these dudes in the junk a lot with it. Let's do that. So between August 2024 and July 2025, Weisenberg and Thomas are alleged to have conspired to recruit and lead an unlawful expeditionary force to the island of Grenade, which is part of the Republic of Haiti, for the purpose of carrying out their rape fantasies. Weisenberg, they must have read a lot of National Geographic as a kid. Was that true? Hey, National Geographic was porn for a lot of kids. Raise your hand if you National Geographic was your. It's like, wow. Okay, so they really walk around like that. So I guess they're just kind of stuck, It's kind of anyway. And ammunition, then recruit members of the District of Columbia area homeless population. So they how. So you're gonna recruit a lot of crackheads. There was some crackheads, man.
Yeah.
How are you gonna? That's you talk about trying to herd some cats.
Right.
And if you don't have that, crack, you're gonna have to clean up a lot of diarrhea or whichever. Cat's going through withdrawal or something like that. You're gonna have a hard time. It's like, man, I don't want. All right. So anyway, so in summary, these two lads, with a bit of training from the Air Force, thought they could sail on little boats with an army of DC crack addicts. Anyone have eyes on Hunter? Yeah. So and conquer an island of 100,000 people. All right. So. How they plan to do that without getting shot in the back by one of the addicts, canoed by one of the Haitian gangs, AK-47s, or dying from dysentery is beyond me. Yeah, it's like, I hope you guys, make sure you have your shots before you go there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's, wow, man, why are you going to pick on Haiti like that? Easy target, I guess. Dang.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that's it, right?
I wonder what Wyclef has to say about it. and what's it? Lauren Hill. Say, hey, Lauren,
Yeah.
what you got to say about this girl? This cat want to go over there and slaughter a whole bunch of Haitians and round the women and children up for some porn. Yeah. Anyway. My word. All the porn would have like a voodoo theme to it or something like that. You know, yeah. Make them dolls, y'all. Make them. If any Haitians have heard about this, make them dolls and get that ice pick and just stab it in the junk, stab it, turn it over, stab it in the butt. Okay. And last but not least, actress. I was only offered more slave parts after an Oscar win. Okay, so.
Gee, I'm shocked.
Now listen. This is where a lot of conservatives come in and just another black woman crying about racism in Hollywood, how they just only see her as a slave. You should be so lucky that you live in America and it's like, no, dude, stop. If this woman is going to complain about racism in Hollywood, cheer her on. Because Hollywood is run by Democrats, remember? But, just be like, hey, you right, girl. It's wrong how they do you. It's wrong how racist Hollywood is. It's really wrong how you keep voting for them Democrats who run Hollywood, though. But hey, hey, I'm with you, girl. It's racist. They doing you wrong. But no, you should be ashamed of yourself, and you should be so lucky to be in America. There's no racism in here. There's no systemic racism and all that. Always giving the Democrats a pass. But anyway, to this girl who's saying all I'm offering, shut up. Take your dang slave part. Take it. You know why? Because too much of the black community is always wanting to make America feel guilty about slavery. You got to make them feel aware of it, right? We got to make them aware of it, man. Never going to happen again. Never. Okay, well, if that's the case, shut up and take your slave part. And just always make sure that you push that white guilt on folks that you enslaved us. We need to make another movie about and make them feel guilty until they want to carry themselves about how they enslaved us. We were slaves, and they need to always know that we were slaves. Give me that slave role.
Yeah.
Give me that broom and that headscarf so I can get out there. You know what I'm saying? Tired of this crap, man. All right. Anyway.
How was our Thanksgiving?
Like, how was mine?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Well, actually, they probably can't hear the question, but they've been asking.
Since Carrie was, hey, we could eat at the Wiener Schnitzel, and I'd have the grooviest time because you're my party partner. Have a Wiener Schnitzel with some cranberry sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
And that'll be our Thanksgiving. No, the Thanksgiving, thank you for asking, y'all. Hey, it was probably, the grooviest one yet. And I did the cooking.
Yeah.
Well, not all the cooking, but I mean, I had a hand in it.
Most of it. You did the meat and taters.
I did. I was trusted with the turkey.
Yeah.
I was trusted with the turkey this year. And it looked like everybody was happy.
Oh yeah.
Her family is like NRA people. If it wasn't good, they probably would have shot me. So I survived Thanksgiving, and I think everybody was happy with how the turkey came out,
Very.
and
Very.
and with how the taters came out.
Yeah.
And the desserts and stuff like that. So it was good, y'all. And I was since I was trusted with the, I was like, man, how am I gonna do it? Because the first thing I was like, well, if I'm gonna do the turkey, man, I want to deep fry it. But I was like, no, that might be too ambitious, man. I don't know. So the method that I took, and I'd be interested to know how y'all's, thing. I want to know how y'all did it and how y'all did y'all's turkey and stuff like that, or how y'all's was done. I think the method that I like for doing the turkey is dry brining. I dry brined it.
And yeah, that's the jam.
Oh, yeah.
So I did that to it, and you know, it just the juices that it rendered, you know, to make the gravy, I just did a regular turkey gravy, and I did a giblet, both of them, man. If I do say so myself, yeah, and you know, everybody else seemed to be pretty happy with it, you know, and so yeah, all that to say, good times.
Wonderful.
Yeah, ate till it hurt. Yeah, you know.
We're talking about Argyle in the DFW area. Jay says, obviously something got in the water up there. Yeah, because it was a very red area, the DFW area.
Uh-huh.
You spoke in Plano, 2011, I want to say.
Wow,
And, you know, we went all around the DFW area, and it was quite Republican. But now, yeah. Well, what's her face? Jasmine.
oh, jeez. Yeah.
Now they're there. So,
Right. Yeah. So it's Texas, you know, the place was like, hey, you got to get out of California. You know, coming over here, it's like, dude, Texas, what the crap is happening to you?
yeah, Soros money is what's happening to Texas.
Yeah.
And pride-filled Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of that. I know they want to blame all the illegal immigrants. It's the illegal immigrants' fault. How the crap you think they got here? You know, and it's weak representatives. You know, and then letting these Democrats get in there, and backstabbing. I mean, it's like, man, they just came after Paxton, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, what the crap, y'all? What the for real? Yes, it's like, you know, we got a lot of rhinos here, man.
We do.
A lot of rhinos.
We do.
And so yeah, but y'all, it isn't even so much about Texas becoming, you know, it's about Texas going back to being, you know.
Don't forget.
Yeah, Texas was pretty much on the onset, and it didn't become like a more Republican state until like the late '60s, going into the '70s, is when it became more of a Republican state. But for the long time before that, Democrat was, it's just going back that way now. Yeah. That's sad. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and you know, getting a dose from the Zo Loft. Hopefully we said some things that are thought-provoking or just, you know, something for a good laugh, whether you're laughing at me or say, so you're stupid. But we like you, man. You're our kind of stupid. So so thank you so much for tuning in. BronzeSerpentMedia.com. Hope you come there, become a member. It's free. Won't cost you a dime. Just a couple clicks of your time. And you know, populate that powwows, y'all. Let's grow our little community there, man. Maybe grow our little community into a big community, and you know, celebrate the real truth. Whatever, you know, it's like whatever we want to share, as long as it's just rooted in the truth. You know, whatever's going on in the news, whatever's going on in your world, or whether it's, you know, something funny, something foodie, something, you know, artsy, something, you know, pet enthusiasts, or something going on in the news, political, whatever. You know, just as long as it's, you know, rooted in the truth, man. That's all. You know, keep it clean and PG-13, and, you know, have our own little groovy society there. Zoe, you sound like a cult member. No, I ain't a cult member, man. So, and drop that buck in the bucket if you want to help keep your bro Zoe on the go. Really appreciate it. And don't forget, y'all, please go to my music site on BronzeSerpentMedia.com/X and look up those albums. The links are there. They'll take you to Spotify or Amazon or SoundCloud. Please leave a rating and review. You know, and encourage other people. I'm gonna be asking this. I'm sorry if I get on your nerves. I'm really sorry, but hey, we're trying to do our part. You know, we're trying to do our part, and we need your help to do it. And those things like really help. You know, I ain't trying to stroke anybody for more money or anything like that, because you know, I know times is tight. But if you can't give more, this would really help. You know, and getting other people to come over there and say, hey man, check this music out, and show them some love if you think it's good. If you think it's good, right? I don't want to try to convince somebody to do something that they don't like.
But if you do like it, even a little bit,
If it's not your jam, do it anyway to help out the culture war.
yeah, it's almost like that saying, hey, if you don't get the joke, laugh anyway. Figure it out on your way home. If you're on the car, oh, I get it now. Yeah. But for right now, just fake it, laugh. Anyway, so, all right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. You have a groovy rest of your evening and week. We'll do it again soon sometime. All right, bye.